Great win and some great vibes coming out of MetLife Stadium last night. The Jets absolutely owned the Patriots on primetime TV, too. 24-3 to snap an 8-game home losing streak to New England. So let's talk JETS with Matt O'Leary, host of the Just Jets podcast. My man, a victory Monday and Friday all in the same week. What a week to be hashtag Jet Up, man. Huge night, not only for the team, but for the fan base. How's the fan base feeling this morning, my man?
Yeah, the fan base is absolutely pumped up. Just, going back to a year ago, the home openers when they lost Aaron Rodgers for the season. So now just vibes are sky high after you get that unbelievable performance from really the team as a whole, but specifically Aaron Rodgers was also great last night. So I don't think you could ask for too much better.
Yeah, I tell people I've been telling people all morning, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets offense put the entire league on notice with what they put on tape last night. So I guess, is it safe to say that the fan base's prayers to the football gods have been answered offensively?
I really think so. And it was so funny. I was talking to some other Jet fans who felt the exact same way. But my reaction was, it's so nice to have a quarterback where you don't just have this feeling of dread when they drop back, like something horrible is about to happen. With Rodgers, whether it's, second and long or third and long, there's just this confidence that he's going to be able to, stand in the pocket and deliver a catchable ball and pick up the first down. It's, they were moving the ball at will offensively last night on the New England Patriots. And I can't tell you how many times over the years we've seen the Jets get blown out in prime time, or we've seen them lose an embarrassing game to the New England Patriots. And to be on the other side of that for a change is just so welcomed for Jet fans. And, Rodgers in particular, this looked like the MVP version that we saw just a few years ago.
Yeah, it was almost like it was too good to be true. It was like you're waiting for something to happen. But my man, whether it was a third down throw or him scrambling, getting out there looking like he's 21 in the club or something again, like it was just great to watch. And I think one of the biggest takeaways I took from it, great quarterbacks can make a receiver's confidence just go through the roof. And you see what he and Alan Lazard have been able to do the first couple of games. Last year, everybody wrote Alan Lazard off, but he's kind of got this guy going again. And he's been a great, he was an addition last year, but he's been great for the team this year. And that's just what a great quarterback play does for a wide receiver. The defense had themselves a bounce-back game as well. They absolutely shut down the Patriots' run, and Jacoby Brissett couldn't do anything within that pass game. So, great the defense, week 3.
Yeah, how is it not an A performance after what we saw last night? And comparatively to the first 2 weeks, I thought, in the second half of week 2 against Tennessee, they started to look better. But, we see it here on the screen, 139 yards allowed, 7 sacks, a forced fumble as well from Chuck Clark. They had some guys out defensively or some guys banged up. You lost Jermaine Johnson for the season a week prior. No CJ Mosley in this one, but it didn't seem to matter. Guys, it was the next man up mentality. Will McDonald was great again for a second week in a row, and Jamie Sherwood filling in for CJ Mosley was also really impressive last night. So just an all-around performance, both offensively and defensively, which was, again, a really nice find for the New York Jets after last year. It just felt like they couldn't get the offense on the same page with the defense. Last night, it was both going at the same time. And if that happens, they're going to be a good team this year.
Yeah, that next man up mentality defensively for the Jets, it feels like it's a mindset, it's a culture. Sherwood was all over the field yesterday. He was north, south, east, west, absolutely all over the field. Each guy knows what they need to do when they come in, and they know they need to do it well. To go back to Will McDonald, who has had, 5 sacks in the last 2 games. They lost Jermaine Johnson for the year, week 2, but you think McDonald, with his play, has kind of shifted the leverage back to Joe Douglas and the Jets within the whole Hassan Reddick situation?
Yeah, I think you could definitely make that case because after, losing Jermaine Johnson in week 2, I think most people assume that, this would be the time for Hassan Reddick to get a deal to be done because the Jets had a need. But Will McDonald has really answered the bell, I thought, the last 2 weeks. Had pretty much the game-ending sack a week ago and just again all over the field last night, making play after play. His bend around the edge is really impressive, and they needed him to step up in the absence of Jermaine Johnson. So it'd be really nice to add Hassan Reddick to this defense, but Will McDonald's absolutely been what you would call a number one edge rusher for this unit. So when they need a sack or a big play, it's been Will McDonald, and I don't think that's slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, if I'm Hassan Reddick, I watched that game last night, and I'm like, you know what? Let's end this thing. I want to go be a part of something. Money is money, and I'm not going to tell anybody about their money or how to get their money, but like Chris Carter used to say, take away as much money and memories as you can from your football career. And he could get a lot of both if he joins his team because, I mean, you think of him coming off the other edge with Will McDonald. That's lights out for any quarterback. Winning masks everything, as we say in football. So do you think there's anything that you want them to clean up team-wise before they get back to stronger competition? Like, what did you see last night that could possibly get them beat in the future?
Yeah, there's just a couple little things. Like I thought they were a little penalty heavy again this past week. That's been a little bit of an issue for this team over the last couple of years. And then twice in the third quarter, the Jets had to use a timeout to avoid a delay of game penalty. And in a game like last night where you have a huge lead and you end up winning by 3 touchdowns, that's not going to matter. But, you know, if you're facing, you know, one of these contending teams late in the year or even in the playoffs in January, that's the difference between a win or a loss. A lot of times those timeouts are so valuable, and I just think they need to do a better job of getting up to the line of scrimmage a little bit earlier, and that way, you know, you're not winding the play clock down to 1 second, snapping it every time at 1 second, or, you know, being forced to take a timeout to avoid the delay of game penalty. So I don't know if it's the play call and coming in quicker or if it's just Rodgers getting the guys to the line a little bit faster, but just little things like that. I know it sounds a little nitpicky after a big win, but, you know, as you said, if you want to be a Super Bowl contender or a team that's, you know, trying to make a deep run in the playoffs, these are the little things that matter when it's playoff time.
Yeah, it's almost like Aaron Rodgers is listening to Taylor Swift in his helmet instead of getting the call from Nathaniel Hackett, man. It's like, yo, get to the line, get this play ran. I don't want to end on a negative, bro. I got to end this thing on a positive. Fill in the blank at the end and tell me why. You haven't felt this good about Jets football since blank, and why?
2010, when the New York Jets last made the playoffs. And, you know, that was a different kind of feel, too. So that game, or that season, rather, was fresh off a surprise run to the AFC Championship game, and expectations were high again because elite defense, and thought, you know, adding some veterans would really make a big difference. But this year's team is so different because you have a quarterback who can literally make any throw. The touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson was put in an absolutely perfect spot. Not many quarterbacks are making that play. So honestly, I feel better about this team than I did then too. So Jet fans should have very high expectations for this season because they finally have the offense, and more specifically, the quarterback who can make the plays.
I love this for y'all. Hey, tell the people where they can find you, Matt.
Absolutely. You can follow along with me on YouTube and on social media at Matt O'Leary NY, talking all things Jets and New York football.